Okay, and hi. This is going to be a scar tutorial, and I know I already did one, but the old one was kind of crap. And another reason for redoing this is I can now upload videos over 15 minutes. I think I mentioned that before, but I'm still kind of excited about it. So this is going to be a hopefully more in-depth scar tutorial, as well as one I can kind of slowly work you through without rushing. I'm going to cover in this one the gashes, of course, stitches, bruising, and all of that lovely stuff. So, as usual, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff so you can see me do it from scratch. I'm going to actually have to lead it the right way. Um, this one hopefully will be better because the last one I was grumpy. I watched back and I'm like, what was I saying? It was really terrible. Alright, I'm going to start with a basic skin ball. I chose a lighter skin tone so you can see more of the bruising and stuff better. This isn't going to go too much in depth about blending. I have a blending tutorial, but I might remake it since I can actually take my time with it and show you how to get this smooth kind of double lighting thing. But you never know. For now, we're just going to work with this. Alright, I'm setting my opacity to 60. I'm going to turn off my pen pressure so that this will be excuse me, kind of mouse friendly. Right, the first thing you start off with is always the gash, and you have to follow the shape you're going in. So with this gash, you see this is a ball. Your scar can't be exactly like this on a ball, because that's not the shape of your surface. Scars should usually follow the shape of your surface. I'm gonna keep this like a simple gash, because, sorry again, some people have weak stomachs. I don't want to like make a super gross one with like skin pieces left over in it or anything like that. So what I did was I just used dark red to put the general shape of my scar down. Now I'm using the smudge tool to kind of stretch it out. You see how it's curving along the skin. You can do it other ways by blending or whatever, but for me, scars are a lot easier to do with this because usually when a scar is this clean, it was done like quick and with, I believe, a quick blade swipe would look more like this. Like if you ever seen Rurouni Kenshin, that little X he has on his face. Yeah. Because if you do it slower and drag it, you get more of a jagged effect, but a quick one would be kind of like done deal. Okay, so we have our scar here. My opacity is at 60, I'm gonna take it down to 15. Now, what we're gonna do now is basically give the scar some depth, because if you stop here, yeah, you can tell that's pretty much a gash, but it doesn't look painful, if you get what I mean. So, I'm gonna go on my color palette, go up on a diagonal, not too far. How far you go really depends on you. And in the deepest portions of the gash, I'm gonna get my brush a little tinier. In the deepest portions of the gash, you would put this dark color. Now you see, mine isn't dark enough, so I'm gonna go even darker, closer to that little edge, and try to build up my depth from there. Let's go a little darker, smaller brush. Let's really play up that depth in there, because I want it to look kind of deep, and you'll see why, because I'm going to kind of make it a raised gash. Alright, so we have some depth on the inside, but what I did, you see I colored the edges up so that it looks darker, so I'm going to take a lighter red and kind of go around those edges and raise it a bit. And that's my phone in the background. I'm not going to answer it. So yeah, I'm just playing back and forth with depth right now. Okay, I think that's good. So that's basic kind of scar put together. But if you want to make it look more gashy, gross than that, you can go back into your red. We're still at 15% opacity, I believe, and go like around the edges of the scar with that red. Just right around the edges and blend. Again, the blending tutorial teaches you about blending. If mine doesn't help, then look up other tutorials. There are so many different ways to blend. It's unreal. But in general, I like the way I blend, but I switch the way I blend a lot depending on what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, or whatever. I change my style whenever I get bored of it, so. Alright, it's kind of coming into its shape now, if you notice, with the little bruising around. I'm gonna add more red to it though. What the red does, at least to my eye, it makes it look more sore, like kind of ow kind of effect. I wouldn't know. I've not got gash like that anywhere I can see, I don't think. I don't know. I got the back of my leg pretty bad once though. I think it was a bike accident. I was too young to remember. But yeah, now I'm going in adding more red because the red really kind of brings some, I don't want to say depth, but it brings kind of that idea of this was pretty painful when it happened. Now you see, at this step, it's starting to look more scarry. You can continue to add more red, etc. Now the last part for this portion, I take the skin tone and I go lighter with it. And what I do is I go around, let's see if I can do this without screwing it up. I go around the sort of jagged parts of the scar and bring them out so that they look more raised and puckered and the flesh looks more torn. I like the appearance of torn flesh because I feel if you're gonna do a scar, you should really do it up. Because scars, this is gonna sound so creepy, scars are beautiful things to draw when they're drawn right. They really bring a new element to the picture. Sorry? Alright, now this, you can leave it like this if this is the look you're going for. This is a perfectly good look. This is usually where I leave my scars because I like this sort of look to it. But if you want to continue on, now we'll go into bruising. Now for bruising, my favorite colors to use are purple and green, but there are yellows in there as well. So we're going to start with the purple. I would suggest getting a darker purple and working it in, and I'm going to work this dark purple in, still at 15% opacity, at the top of it, and just blend it in. What this does is give it like pretty bruised up effect, which again is great for a scar because a scar done right is a really nice thing to see. Not saying I do it right, but you know. Wow, you walk heavy. My younger sister just walked by. Anyway, now I'm going into the green. I would say try not to get those weird in-between colors like green with blue, a bluish green. I would say stick to the natural-ish colors, regular green or regular purple. Alright, and you see how the scar is starting to look more banged up, I guess. The scar is kind of coming to its own. Yeah, I'm checking my hotkeys in the middle because I feel like it's going to get loud in a second and I'm going to have to pause. That's simply because my mother's awake and she's a very loud-mouthed woman. You can probably hear her in the background. Alright, now we have our purple, our green, now next is the yellow. I am not the master of yellow usage, so usually whenever I use yellow it comes out really crappily, as you'll see. You see I'm putting yellow around the edges. Here, this actually turned out a lot better, but I usually avoid the yellow simply because it always kind of cheapens my look because I'm bad with it. But again, this is another point at which you can stop and say, okay, this is my scar if you want it to look more like they were in a fight, pretty beat up. And the last portion, and not the least, I guess, is the stitches. I'm not as fond of stitches because I'm really a sucker for open gashes, but for the sake of the tutorial I will get that done. Alright, oh gosh, no, that works. Alright, I have my opacity up now at 60%, and I'm just kind of lightly going over it maybe twice, because you don't want your stitches to look too sketchy unless that's your style, then go for it. And you don't want them to be transparent either. Alright, I have my my stitches down. Now I'm gonna get a little highlight color for them. What I'm doing, and why you don't see me going for the color when my side is going down, is I'm using hotkeys. Hotkeys are always helpful. Oh, back to 15%. Yeah, don't do your highlights in that high of an opacity. It won't look right unless it's your style. But I'm using hotkeys for this. Hotkeys are the most amazing thing ever. They really help you so that you don't have to do a lot more work. Because when you're doing a lot more detailing, or at least for me, I have to still feel like I'm being lazy, even if I'm not. So the hotkeys make me feel like, ha, I'm taking a shortcut. Anyway, now your stitches, these go kind of into your skin. Stitches, go in. So what you would do, and what I'm doing now, is I'm color picking from around my scar, getting a darker color, and like painting it around and underneath. There's a better method for this, but it's part of a Zero Bandit tutorial, and that's a paid tutorial, so I can't teach you that method. So anything from that tutorial I can't exactly put in here. But if you want to buy the tutorial, it's really cheap. It's like 500 credits last time I checked, but she has a new one, which is really awesome. I will try to remember to link those below, as well as some free tutorials that might be helpful to you, in case this one leaves you confused. Alright, now you see I have my shadows all around them. Now I'm going to take a lighter color and kind of go around that shadow, because not piercings, stitches cause a little bit of a dimple. This is a really bad dimple that I'm doing, because again, I don't do stitches very often. I really love open gashes. But I'm putting some light dimpling around here to kind of illustrate that it's there. And what you can do after that, you can go underneath here and like add shadows from the stitches and everything so it looks less cartoony. But even though I can go over 15 minutes, I don't want to drag this out. So yeah, that is the updated scar tutorial. I hope it was helpful for you. If there's any other tutorials that you feel like I rushed through in the past to try and hit that 15-minute mark, let me know. I'll redo them for you. I'm probably going to redo the blending tutorial, simply so I can go more in depth and talk through it for people who maybe didn't get it. But other than that, that's it. I am going to get ready for class now because I have to finish my homework in an hour. We'll see how that goes. Take care.